I don't know why the video looks weirdly dark. Half of my video looks dark right now. I can't possibly explain that, but who cares? It's mock day. It's going to be hard to do because on Yahoo, the window is so small that zooming in screws up everything I'm trying to do. But the mock starts in about a minute and a half. So welcome to Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. I'll make that window bigger in a moment. I am Dan Bespris. You can follow me on social media at Dan Bespris or follow at Old Man Squad on Twitter. That one will follow you back. That's our network feed. Like, rate, and subscribe. Like, rate, and subscribe. Happy mock day, everyone. Today's the first day that Yahoo is allowing mock drafts, allowing drafts of any kind. So I thought it'd be fun to try to dive in and do a few of them right out of the chute. So to the best of my ability here, we'll be talking through the picks as they happen. Again, I'm going to do my best to try to zoom in on things. And like, if I make it huge like this, then I can't even see, like legitimately cannot see the names on the draft board. So I can't zoom in quite that far. But what I'll do is we'll stay somewhat zoomed out. And then in between my picks, I'm in the 6 slot today, folks. I took the 6 slots. I thought that's an interesting one. We might end up with Giannis, might end up in a punt build. We'll see. I will go over to the draft room, basically the results page over here, and then you'll get to see everybody as it lines up. You can see teams, you can see the whole thing. So that'll be a much more clear board, and we can zoom in on that and kind of zip back and forth. But I'm mid-round, so there isn't going to be that much time for me to do the zooming and the unzooming, but I will do my best. So here we go. I'll make it as big as I can. I'll make my face as small as I can for those that are listening. I will try to say every pick as they happen. Here we go. Jokic goes first, which I like, and then Wemby second. Here comes Luka, I'm sure. It's 30-second picks on Yahoo, so it's going to be flying. Luka third, no surprises so far. Shea fourth. This will be the first we don't know pick. So Giannis goes fifth. I thought I might get him there. Anthony Davis or Tyrese Halliburton are the two names at the top of the Yahoo board. It's hard not to go AD given how good he was per game. It's going to make my team a little bit tougher to build on because he's not a massive averages. Scoring is fine. It's mostly rebounds, blocks, field goal percent. It's not the world's easiest player to build a head-to-head team on, but I don't know how you go a different direction here. So I'll go AD at 6, and now we'll go over to where's the board? Do they not have the color-coded board available anymore? Halliburton goes 7th, Tatum 8th, Joel Embiid goes 9th. Again, this is drafting for a 9-cat head-to-head league. Where's the damn... I guess Yahoo doesn't have that anymore. That's disappointing. Steph Curry goes 10th. This is going to make it hard. I'll zoom in. Nope, can't zoom in. There's draft board. Okay. All right. Is that visible? I don't know if that's visible or not. Donovan Mitchell goes 11th. How much? Anyway, you guys will let me know after the fact if you guys can see this. It's hard because, again, if I zoom in farther, then it disappears. See? Gone. Zoomed in, but now it's vanished. So that's as far as I can zoom it in because it won't let me change the size anymore. Anthony Edwards goes 12th, and that's your first round. What else can I move around here to try to get it? Can I shrink that? Okay, that helped a little bit. But if I zoom in farther, yeah, it wipes it all out. All right, so that's as far as I can go. Hopefully that's good enough. That's as good as it's going to get. Not super easy to see, I know, but I'm counting on you guys to do the adjustments there. Kevin Durant, Trae Young, Devin Booker, Domantas Sabonis, Damian Lillard so far in the second round. I haven't even had a chance to look at my board yet. But if you're going Anthony Davis, and this is a head-to-head mode as Chet Holmgren comes off the board, I'm going to need most of the guard stuff. And the guy that's still there that does that the most for me is James Harden. Even at 19, I'm fine with it. Does he beat this per game? I don't know. But suddenly now I got a guard that can rebound. I got big assists. It helps fix free throws. They cover each other in field goal percent a little bit. There's no big advantage there. Harden's okay at blocks as well. Turnovers get worse. Harden, I think, will score more. Don't put me on auto pick. I was letting it run so that I could talk about it, Yahoo. So I like Harden there. I think he's a good pair with AD. It now covers me in a lot of categories. I don't really have a particularly weak category yet, and I've left myself a lot of places um, to go. I can go a lot of directions here, as Scotty Barnes goes right afterwards at number 20. So depending on who's on the board when it comes back to me in the third round, we'll see which direction my team wants to go. Because I'm good in steals, I'm good in blocks, turnovers are fine. Scoring is not great. If I want to shore that up, and I probably will have to because it's head-to-head, you can't just really... Punting scoring is not great unless I can find guys that are all really efficient. That's a little bit more of a roto play for me. So probably looking for somebody in the third round that can pile up some counting stats. Kyrie Irving goes 21st. Get my water ready here. But we'll see who's on the board. There goes LeBron at 22. Someone just left. Hopefully that's just their internet resetting, because this was a draft where I put the link out on Twitter, and I think most of you folks are part of that. Paul George at 24. Of the guys that are floating around, and I really would love to create more space here. So let me unzoom a bit so I can see all the names. You probably can't, so apologies on that front. Guys that are left, yeah, there's the dude. He's back in. Ralph is back in. Guys that are still here at 24 that I'd be looking at. LaMelo would be probably the next one I'd consider at 30. I doubt he gets to me at 30, but who knows? And that would steer me into that build. After LaMelo at 30, do I want to go Lauri Markkanen? I don't know. I have a lot of injury issues with Anthony Davis floating around right there. Freddie VanVleet would definitely be on my board. Little early for me to go on Fox with the DeMar DeRozan situation. I don't really want Bane or DeJounte Murray. Jalen Brunson at 30, I'm okay with, but I don't think he beats that. So it's probably Freddie. LaMelo, by the way, just went at 25. Brunson at 26. And if I scroll down the board a little bit, other guys at 30, Cade would be if I'm punting turnovers. I probably am not, given my first round pick is not a high turnover guy. I don't think I go any farther down the board, because then my hope is some of these dudes make it back to me. But Jalen Williams is awesome. We just lost somebody else. Hopefully they're back in a minute as well. Brunson 26, Şengün 27th. And that team is... Let me go to the draft board here. Şengün team has LeBron and Luka, so probably giving up on turnovers and free throws, and that's okay. Well, now I'm just waiting. I'm putting a lot in the Fred VanVleet gets to me basket at the moment, and he did. So I can talk through it because I can use my full 30 seconds here. Freddie VanVleet's going to be my pick. I think he beats this on a per-game mode. Now field goal percent is a weakness. Defensive stats, assists, threes, free throws have suddenly now become a positive for my team. Rebounds are still fine, even though Freddie's not that good at it. I'm not, that's something I can shore up with a traditional big man in like the 6th, 7th, 8th round range. There are a number of them, JV, Zubats, guys like that. Freddie, the blocks were weirdly high last year. That'll be a little lower. Steals will be a bit higher. But again, I'm building a team that's really good at defensive stats, not as strong at scoring the ball. I'm leaning farther and farther into what appears to be as Kawhi goes at 31. Fox, by the way, and Cat went right before me, just in case I forgot to say those on the recorded side of the pod. So the second round, by the way, see if I can zip in these names, was KD, Trey, Booker, Sabonis, Dame went relatively early in this one. Holmgren, I took Harden, then it was Barnes, Kyrie, LeBron, Paul George, and Maxey. Third round, Ball, Brunson, Şengün, Cat, and Fox. I went VanVleet in the 6 hole. Then it goes Kawhi, Jalen Williams, DeJounte, and Lauri Markkanen is where we're at right now. Sitting on pick 35. I'm trying to do my best to show the board. I realize it's not that big. I'm sorry. I can't make it any larger right now in real time. When the draft is over, I think Yahoo will let me show the whole board, so then I can zoom in and sort of float around a little bit. So just sit tight on that one. I'll listen to my words. Cade goes at 36 on the back end turn. Let's see what Drew does on his way back. I'm gonna go back to looking at the players again to see who I need to get myself ready for. Vooch at 37. That is a very surprising play. Very surprising. I don't like it, frankly. It's way too early on Vooch, especially if he gets moved to a team where he's not a focal point. And he might be a top 40 guy at the beginning of this year, but the Bulls are screwy. JJJ at 38, that's definitely deep enough for him to go. That'd have been a guy I'd look at here. I'm mostly looking for best available player, although, again, I don't feel like I need to target points at this point. I don't think my team is going to be very good at them almost no matter what I do, because I didn't get any of those 26, 27, 28, 30, 29, 30 guys. Miles Turner goes 39. That's really early for him. Bane at 40. That's pretty fair. Jalen Johnson is still on the table. I would take him if he got to me, but that's still a couple picks away. This would be a little... There goes Jalen Johnson. So, nope. Jamal Murray isn't bad here at 43. He's a little dinged up. I mean, he's not going to get back to me in the next one. Evan Mobley is, I think, going to be a really fair pick at this point. Jimmy Butler just went off the board. Again, I'm not hard charging points, really. Mobley gets me field goal percent, boards, more defensive stats, low turnovers, good steals for a power forward center. He fits the build really well, so I'm going to put him in my queue here. I think Mobley's probably the guy. If I didn't go Mobley, I'd go Jamal Murray. And certainly a fear now is, am I going to be good enough in threes? That's going to need to be something that I address. And that would have been something I could have looked at with Jamal Murray. But Mobley just makes sense. I think my bigs are really good. I got great defensive stats from all four of my guys so far. Good assists, good boards, turnovers low. Field goal percent is meh. Free throw percent is also kind of middling. So I'm going to have to lean into something here because I think my team is very good at both defensive stats, boards, and assists, and turnovers. It's kind of 5 good ones, or 5 really good ones, frankly. But I want to make sure I get to 6 or even 7 that I feel comfortable with. Paolo Banchero goes at 44. No surprise there. That's the Giannis team, so they can play around with punts a little bit. Gobert at 45, Jaylen Brown at 46. I'm not into the Jaylen Brown experience. He ruined one of my roto teams last year with that bad free throw percent. Probably cost me 2-3 points, and that was likely a difference between a couple of bucks and a nice payday. I think I won a little bit in that one, but I wanted more. Franz Wagner at 47, a little high for him there. Jared Allen at 48. That's a nice, solid, safe center. And then Derek White at 49, also pretty solid and safe pick. I don't have these teams, and we can look at them quickly. That's a Jokic team, so you can pretty much do anything. Apologies, I'm going to go back to the player list here to those that are watching. I know I screwed you guys up. I'll try to show you the board after the next pick I make. Let's see. So Franz, Jared Allen, Derek White, then Nick Claxton went at 50. Feels like a team that just really needed a big man. Jamal Murray still being there is surprising. I will definitely take him if he gets to me at 54, but something tells me he won't. And I know there's scoring there as Emmanuel quickly comes off the board. DeMar at 54, I think, is reasonable, but I need threes more than I need percentages in scoring. But also, I don't like that many of the dudes behind DeMar. That's problematic. There goes Vassell. There goes Zion Williamson. All right, so I got a little bit lucky here. Jamal Murray fell to me. I'm definitely taking him, and I don't need to wait for the 30-second countdown. So throw Jamal Murray in the mix. At 54, he's going to beat that per game by 15 to 20 slots. There's a little bit of an injury risk there, which on top of the Anthony Davis one, it's not perfect. But, Mobley missed some games last year, but I don't think that he's injury prone per se. Harden's been pretty durable when he wants to be. Freddie VanVleet played a full complement of games last year. So I think I got enough okay guys in the middle. And if Anthony Davis survives the season and Jamal Murray doesn't, then basically I just need them both to not crap out. And frankly, if Anthony Davis craps out, my team is ruined anyway, so who cares? DeMar went right after me at 55. Then Tobias Harris went immediately after that. He'll go to the draft board here so people can see what's going on. Tobias at 56, that's I'm in a draft with Dan type of pick. Porzingis at 57, I absolutely loathe that pick. He's gone for 2.5 months. There's no chance he gets to this number by totals. None. He's going to play 39 games this year. Jalen Duren goes 58th. That's fine, but he doesn't get defensive stats. Miles Bridges at 59. I don't like Miles Bridges for a lot of reasons. He's a dickhead. That's not fair. He doesn't seem like a nice human being. from what we gather. But beyond that, again, I don't care if you guys draft him. I'm not going to judge any team. I actually just don't think he's a value this year anymore. He was last year. He was a win on draft day last year. I don't think he's going to be a win this season. He was a 60-some-odd guy, and that was with LaMelo Ball missing 75% of the year. Michael Porter Jr. at 60 is a safe pick, but there's no upside there frankly, unless Jokic goes down. I mean, heaven forbid, knock on everything you can find on that front. Thinking back about my own team again, and you can see most of them there, AD, James Harden, Freddie VanVleet, Mobley, Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray wasn't really the right fit for my build because he's not a big defensive stats guy, but he does shore up free throws and threes, which is something I felt like I needed to make sure I got. And I'm pretty well set in defense. And Jamal, he was good last year in assists. 6-7 assists a ball game. So that continues to get to be in a good place. The points are a tiny bit wasted with him. He'll be around 20, but I kind of don't really need them. But again, I just, if I have to trade him, I'll trade him. There's just too much value there. This is a spot in the draft that I hate as it goes D'Lo, Garland, Mikal Bridges, Mark Williams, and Jabari Smith Jr. I'll talk about those picks in a minute. I got to get my situation lined up here. What do I need? It's not that clear. I think I'm just going to go with a guy I like, which is no one on this board right now. I hate everybody that I'm staring at. I mean, I like Valanciunas, but I don't want to take him at 67. Zach LaVine goes off the board. Honest to God, I'm a little bit at a loss right now. I could go way down the board and take somebody like a Bradley Beal, but I also would kind of prefer he come back to me. Same with some of the other guys down that far. Is there anyone near me that I really want that I don't think makes it back? I mean, it would be Valanciunas, but 67 is way early on him. All right, so I guess we're going Beal. Don't like it, but I got it. It's way too early on him. I don't like that pick at all. I'm saying it out loud so you guys can hear me. I'm not thrilled. I would have rather gone a round later on that one, but I hate the 6th round this year, and I kind of hate the 7th round, and you got to do something. So the other possible move there would have been to just go Brandon Ingram and hope he gets traded. Valanciunas, CJ McCollum, if I wasn't punting or semi-punting points, probably would have been a path to go. Beal is probably going to be around 17, 18 points a game. Great percentages. I love that. He'll get you some boards, some assists, some steals, some blocks. There's a lot to like about Beal, but there's the injury risk, and there's the fact that I took him around early than I wanted to. Let's go to the draft board so you guys can see what this looks like right now. D'Lo, that was early. Garland, if you're punting turnovers, is fine. Bridges, I like. Williams, I like. Jabari Smith Jr., that was too early for him. LaVine, I'm good with. John Morant there is fine. Brandon Miller, I'm not a big Brandon Miller guy. Siakam, that's where he should go. Jalen Suggs, I'm a little nervous going Suggs this year. He's going to take a step forward, but how big? And then Ayton at 72. Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with that one. So that's where we're at right now. You guys can stare at the board for a second before I flip back to the available players because it's looping up on me pretty quick here. All right. Austin Reeves starts the next round. That's at 73. There it is down in the corner. I can see that. Folks are having some internet issues at the moment. Oh, yeah. It looks like the 9th team never made it back into the draft. So that's a pisser. But that's probably how Porzingis ended up. The only explanation. They got thrown onto auto draft early. You jerk, man. I put this link out on Twitter. Stick around. Josh Giddey goes 74. Julius Randle 75. All right, it's coming up on me real quick now. Now I would look at Valanciunas. I still don't really want him at 78, but now I would take him. Drew Holiday, this would be a very safe place to take him, and he does fit the build. Good percentages, low scoring, other stuff. Valanciunas, good percentages, low scoring, big man-y stuff, if that was something I felt like my team needed. Beal was good for defensive stats again, but the question is really how much of those do I actually need at this point? Trey Murphy at 76. That's fine. Probably earlier than I needed to. Kuzma, 77. That's punt free throw team. Pretty good punt free throw build going on right now. So Valanciunas is the guy on the board for me. I don't think I want to wait around to see if he gets back. I think he could be really good for my field goal percent, which again, with Harden and VanVleet, It could get ugly. I've got good ones in Davis and Mobley, and Beal's a good field goal guard, as is Murray. He's fine. But I really need someone to lay into the field goal percent. And if Valanciunas gets opportunity, it's going to be JV this year. So let's go Valanciunas at 78. I think he fits this team well. I know there's not much in the way of blocks there. I'm counting on AD and Mobley to kind of float that a bit, along with the fact that Harden, Van Vliet, and Beal are each going to be, 0.5 to 0.7 from a guard slot. It's no longer a massive strength on my team. I'll tell you that. So at some point here, I'm going to have to get some more blocks. Is it going to be like a big shot blocking guy? Probably not, because those guys are bad foul shooters. But Hartenstein is still floating around. He's not horrible at the free throw line. And frankly, let's put him in the queue because he would make a lot of sense. And I honestly, I don't think I want to risk him falling any farther. He's the perfect guy for the build that I have right now, which is basically a punt points team. And Hartenstein is going to board, assist, steal, block, field goal percent, not ruin free throw. Like, I honestly, at this point, I kind of need him to get back to me. If I don't, he went. Son of a gun. Hartenstein went 80th, then Ingram at 81, Kuminga at 82. That's a downer. All right, well, I still got Drew Holiday on the board. Nurk would be sort of like a Hartenstein light. I don't like his bad foul shot, though. I don't like a lot about Nurkic, but we're getting to the point where I would almost have to consider it. Could my team handle his poor free throw shooting? There really isn't anybody on the club that's bad at it yet. And I got a couple of good ones. There goes Nurk, so F me. Never mind then. I guess we're leaning Drew Holiday unless he doesn't make it back. By the way, that was the end of the 7th round we're at right now. Forget how many rounds the Yahoo board is. This is a complicated time. Cam Thomas would be a value at 91, but he doesn't fit the build at all. That's a draft and trade kind of guy. I don't want Poole here. I don't want McCollum here. Again, these guys are doing things that I don't necessarily require. Keegan Murray, no. At some point, I'm going to have to consider these dudes. Rozier, no. Bogdanovic, he's a maybe. There goes Keegan Murray. Hero and Murray starting the 8th round. I don't think I'm going any farther down the board. Kobe White, CJ McCollum, him rocketing off. Thank you, one auto-picking team. Pirtle would be another one. He's Hartenstein with terrible foul shooting, so we'll throw him on the board. I mean, if I really want that center, Zubats would potentially fill it, but not many assists. At least he doesn't hurt the free throw, though. So Zubats in there, Pirtle in there. I do feel like I need one more blocks guy. And there goes Drew Holiday right before me. So that really screws things up. All right. The question now becomes, do any of these guys, these big men that I'm looking at, do they get back to me in the 9th round? Because if they do, then I'm going to want to take somebody else that is maybe a bit more coveted at this spot. But I don't feel like I need Poole. And Cam Thomas is off the board. So is it Zubats or is it Pirtle? Or is it someone earlier like a Herb Jones? Let's go Herb Jones. Let's get nuts with steals. We're going to lock those bad boys in. This was a last-second decision. We're going to get some threes. He was super efficient last year, so I like that a lot. Not much in the way of rebounds. Not many assists either, so that's a little bit of a downer. But I love leaning into the defensive stats more. And that's going to allow me, if I want to go somebody else here that doesn't really, or that isn't quite as good, say, at shot blocking. So that means if I'm debating between Pirtle and Zubats, I can probably go Zoo, save the percentages, because I only need like 1.1 blocks now, because Herb is going to get me close to 1. Mobley's over 1. Davis is probably over 2. Pirtle just came off the board anyway, so that's no longer an issue for me. Van Vliet, half a block or more. Jamal, Harden. I get some out of everybody. So that's a pretty good category for me. Steals is really good. Assists is pretty damn good. Blocks are good. Turnovers are low. I only have one turnover guy on the team. That's Harden, and even he's... And there goes Zubats, you son of a gun. Didn't make it to 100. Ah, well. All right, well, this just got a little bit more complicated. If I wanted to go big man, and big man stats are in pretty good shape right now after the Valanciunas play. Caruso went at 95. Tyus Jones at 97, by the way. I mean, now I'm probably just looking at who I like the most. Bogdanovic is on that list. I don't think I really want Anthony Simons. He sort of blows up some of the things my team is good at. Rozier, I don't trust this year in Miami. So we'll just work our way down the board. There goes Bogdan. Jerks. Jerks, the lot of you. Draymond makes a lot of sense as a punt points guy. Boards, assists, steals, blocks, field goal percent, 1 3-pointer. I mean, threes is probably the spot where... No, because Herb gave me a few. And there goes Draymond. I put him in, they take him off. I put him in, they take him off. John Collins is a nice percentages guy across the board. Now I'm really looking at well-rounded players. I don't want these dudes up at the top. No, thank you. Collins is the first one that I'm interested in on the board. Anunoby, as Zach Edey goes at 100. Mike Conley would be an efficient one. There goes OG, by the way. So now it's between John Collins and Mike Conley, most likely at this point. Everybody else I have some confidence will make it back. Currently, Collins is higher up. I guess it depends on what I feel like my team needs. Threes, free throw. I think I'm going to go Collins here. We'll go John Collins. He ended up being really good down the stretch last year. I don't know if he's going to get to start at center, but if he does, he was awesome. Mitchell Robinson goes 103. Let's bring up the draft board so you guys can see what the last few rounds look like. There's Robinson at 103. We just talked about him. My team, I think, is pretty good, actually. I still regret going Beal as early as I did. Everybody else, I feel like I got around when I needed them to. Herb Jones was a little bit of a weird one. Now, it's not necessarily a panic pick, but I think I felt like one of the guys I wanted after that, like a Draymond or a Zubats, would make it back to me, and they didn't. So, am I going to regret it? I don't know. I mean, I have technically 4 bigs on this team, and AD, Valanciunas, Mobley, and Collins. Valanciunas, is he going to be 7 boards or he's going to be 9 or 10? That actually ends up being kind of a big deal for my team because Collins is going to be probably like 7 or 8. Mobley is going to be 8 to 9. Anthony Davis is my big dude. By the way, Clint Capella at 104. Simons at 105. Naz Reid 106. Jalen Green at 107. You guys getting a look at the draft board here. Denny Avdia at 108. Mid-show reminder, folks, please do hit that like button, subscribe. You guys know the ordeal. I'm going to do more mocks. I'm hoping to get 2 of these going today. They're fun and they're easy and they're fast. They require no prep other than just like knowing a ton about fantasy basketball and being ready to go. But, what can I do? I don't know. I know what slot I'm going to be in, but there's only so much I can do to know what everybody else is going. Andre Drummond at 109. I don't like that pick, actually. I love Andre Drummond. I think there's going to be stretches this year where he's excellent, but the stretches where Embiid is healthy, Drummond is not going to be startable in most formats. Walker Kessler at 110, RJ Barrett at 111. I like Kessler at 110, Portis at 112. These are relatively boring picks going on right now, although I think Portis may have been an auto pick. Klay Thompson at 113. The fact that Terry Rozier is still out there, I almost kind of have to because someone's going to get hurt for Miami, and then he's going to be a top 50 guy. And there goes Rozier right in front of me. Somebody else had the same exact thought I did. I only have Mike Conley in my queue right now, which was poor planning on my part. I'm going to get autoed into this one probably, but at least I have a name in there. Scrolling down the board a little bit, guys that I would also consider here at 115. You got to go down a little bit here. Colin Sexton would be another one. KCP is more of your sort of like quiet plotting type. I think I'd rather have Conley, though, for the assists. So we'll go Mike on the auto. That makes a lot of sense for my team. Get that one more assist guy in there along with Harden. He's the big one. Van Fleet is a medium large one. And then you've got Jamal Murray as kind of a medium one. Beal is a medium one. Conley now is a medium one. I think that was starting to get weak. So I'm happy with that one. Colin Sexton will likely be my next pick if he gets to me. He's not a big defensive stats or 3-point guy, but he's good percentages again. I think my team is pretty strong in those. And he's another medium assist guy at about 5 a ball game. KCP would be 3-and-D if that's the move I end up making. I know Chris Middleton is going to be such a freaking headache. Derek Lively, the second, went after me at Mike at 116. Horford goes 117. Everybody knows I was going to take him later, so Screw you all. Keontae George at 118. Hope you're punting field goal and turnover. I think it's going to be a bit of a learning curve. Don't know who the Warriors are going to be starting this year. Buddy Hield would be someone I would weekly consider, as Dennis Schroeder goes up at 119. Aaron Gordon at 120. Keep scrolling down the board and see what other names are floating around. Andrew Wiggins would be one of my flyer types. I'm not quite at flyer mode yet. Onyeka Okongwu. There goes Colin Sexton, so my queue got a little tighter. Okongwu's one I would consider here. Gary Trent is someone I would consider here. But we're getting into that point where on everybody's like upside hunting, there isn't really much left. Let's be honest with ourselves. Malcolm Brogdon, PJ Washington. There goes Trace Jackson Davis. I've scrolled too far, ladies and gentlemen. We got to go back up to the top. I don't want Ayo Dosunmu might end up pretty interesting this year. We'll throw him in the queue. I don't want any of these guys, he says as he scrolls past 20 names. Brandon Pajemski at 123 is off the board. We're now 2 picks away from me, and then I'll show you guys the draft board again. I don't want these guys. Amen Thompson, but there isn't enough playing time there. There goes Gary Trent, so part of my queue. People don't like KCP. I get it, but we're now at pick 125, and he's going to... There goes Okongwu. He would have been my other one I would take there. So I think I'm probably going KCP or Dosunmu. Dosunmu's such a nice percentages guy. It's hard for me to pass him up. Let's go Ayo. Fits the build really well. If he gets playing time, he'll get you assists, some boards, good steals, blocks, field goal, and free throw percent. There's a lot to like about him if he can get some playing time. We may have just lost one other team for the last couple of rounds. Not a huge deal, because this is less about what everybody else is doing and more about just the few players that are intriguing. Dante DiVincenzo goes 128. Kelly Olynyk goes 129. My queue is getting thin. KCP, Brogdon, PJ Washington. Hey, there's Ralph, just in time to make his pick. Good luck to you, sir. Middleton is... We're getting close to where I'd almost have to do Middleton. Hopefully he just set a queue and left again. No, he's back in. What are you doing, bud? Fix your internet. You doing this draft from the Seychelles or something? Where are you at? Is that Trias or Trey Jones? One of the Joneses just went off the board. It was Trey Jones. Blech. Josh Hart at 131. Okay. I mean, I'll put Middleton in the queue because I don't want to have to scroll back to find him. I don't want any of these guys. No. I'll throw Andrew Wiggins in the queue. Oof. We're into the dregs now, ladies and gentlemen. Jeremy Grant. Could he somehow get back into the top 100? There's a possibility of that. I'll throw him in the queue. Don't really want him, though. Scoot would be someone I'd look at if I was punting turnovers and field goal percent, but I'm not. I'm attacking both of those, so bye-bye. DeAnthony Melton, he's in the queue. I should have probably thrown... Kel'el Ware went at 132. Wendell Carter Jr. 133. I probably should have thrown Buddy Hield in the queue, so I don't have to hunt him down. There goes Jeremy Grant. I think that's reasonable for him. 130s. Shaden Sharp. Oh, KCP and then Shaden Sharp. Dan's queue. Alex Sarr at 137. That's a good place to take him. I didn't see him. Was he farther down? Might have been farther down the board. Maybe my eyes glazed over for a minute. Cam Johnson goes 138. All right, so I got 5 guys in my queue left here. Brogdon, PJ Washington, Chris Middleton, Andrew Wiggins, DeAnthony Melton. Is it headache time with Middleton? I mean, he's got a way higher ceiling than anybody else here on the board, so I think I kind of have to do it. And if he turns out to be a headache 2 weeks into the season, goodbye. But 65 games out of Middleton here at 139. He obliterates his ADP. 60, he probably beats it too. He might be a top 100 guy totals there. Reed Shepherd at 140. I like Reed Shepherd. I think he's a guy that you could pick up if or when he sees enough playing time to matter. That's not going to happen on the first day of the season. Ben Simmons, I'll throw in my queue just for poops and giggles. Jaden Ivey at 141 is the next pick off the board. At this point now, by the way, I'm not gonna. I'll show you guys the results in a minute. We're almost done. This is the end of round 12. There's only 13 in a Yahoo mock draft, so we're probably 3-4 minutes away from done with this bad boy. And then I'll show you guys the whole draft board, and I'll kind of go through basically my own team, but maybe a quick glance at some of the other ones as well, depending on how long you guys are willing to sit and listen. Malik Monk at 142, Grayson Allen at 143. I mean, we're into the deep doo-doo now. Jalen Smith is someone. Oops, board shifted. Jalen Smith is someone I'll put in the queue as PJ goes off. Then goes Melton. Brandon, drafting off my damn list, you jerk. It's the problem, of course, with putting the link on Twitter is you're going to get, 11 of your people that listen to all your stuff. So this should not be a surprise. Still got 4 names left in my queue. 1, 2, 3. There's 4 teams between me and my pick. I need someone to take anyone that's not in my queue one time, and I'll be okay. Oh, Tari Eason. That's a good one. I think I missed him while I was scrolling. Good pick, Team 146. I don't think I need to go any farther than this. Who's still at the top that's not getting drafted? Neesmith, Nemhard, Nick Richards, Boyan Bogdanovic, Stefan Castle, Clarkson, Bagley, Koulibaly, Keldon Johnson. Gross. There goes Noah Clowney. Everybody loves Noah Clowney right now. I don't think he's going to do anything to start the year. I think he'll be a guy that gets drafted, dropped, and then someone's going to pick him up when Brooklyn blows it up fully. When they unload Dorian Finney-Smith or Cam Johnson or both of them. Donovan Clingan at 148, probably worth a shot. Dyson Daniels, nice pick. Scrolled right past him. Totally missed him. That's a good one. That's a good pick. So for me, it's Brogdon, Wiggins, Simmons, or Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith is a guy you can sit on, so no. Brogdon, I think, probably opens the year as a starting point guard for the Wizards. Wiggins, who knows, and Ben Simmons might be dead. So we'll go Malcolm Brogdon. Doesn't matter. Again, the other 3 guys. Dyson Daniels was a smart one, man. I must have been scrolling too fast because he very much would have been in my queue at that point. Should not have fallen this far. Buddy Hield, by the way, you could throw it at the back end of a queue here just in case the Warriors decide to go space in their starting unit. But we don't know who the Warriors are going to start. Steph, Draymond, Kuminga. Is it going to be Trace Jackson Davis or Hield or Melton or Wiggins or Kyle Anderson? Probably not Kyle Anderson. After Brogdon, now we're into the very last picks, and I'll throw the draft board up there, which is going to expand in a moment. It went Daniel Tice because he's the only center for the Pels, but they'll run Zion at the 5. I don't think I'm drafting Tice. I don't think he's going to play more than about 24 minutes a game. Jaime Jaquez Jr. at 152. Aaron Neesmith, 153. That was auto-drafted. Amen Thompson at 154. We got 2 picks left, and one of those 2 teams is less to draft anyway. Andrew Wiggins at 155. I like that one as a late flyer because, look, if he somehow channels the Wiggins that had his head in the game, he went through that family stuff like 2 years ago, and he's just never been the same. Oh, this dude didn't set himself on auto pick. We got to count down 9 seconds to get the draft board to show up all the way. Womp, womp. What happens if I shrink my queue down? Doesn't do anything. I'll leave the queue up there so you can see it. All right, so that is the draft complete. I would like to shrink things as much as humanly possible, but Yahoo doesn't give that many options here. Can I make something bigger? No? All right, well, that's disappointing. I will do the following. Here, well, I'll show you guys. This is the first 5. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to zoom in. That's about as far as I think we can go before the picture quality gets really gross. You can see the first 3 rounds there. Take a look at them. I'm going to scroll very slowly. First round gone. And for those that are listening after the fact, this is a truly terrible part of the audio for you. But I'm just giving everybody that's watching a very quick look at what the draft board looks like. What I'm going to do here in a matter of moments is to pull up my own team so you guys can kind of see round by round. No, we'll go by teams. So this is where everybody's going. And I want you guys to see what I ended up building here and how it got to that point and how it didn't necessarily start at that point, but it ended there. And these guys you just saw a minute ago at the bottom. So let's look at my teams. Let's go to Dan. There's Dan's team. And you can see them. Although I have to admit, I'd like to see... What does Yahoo think on standings? Yahoo thinks I'm in second place. They think the auto-drafted team is in first. Probably because they think Kristaps Porzingis is going to play. But I'll say this, like, I don't disagree. My team has the third best, and we'll sort it by each. Fourth best field goal percent. Second best free throw percent. Apparently, I'm middle of the pack in three-pointers. I'm not sure I believe that. I'm very low in points. That's not a surprise. Mid-pack in rebounds, I very much disagree with that. Second in assists. Mid-pack in steals. Yahoo, your projections are way off. Fourth in blocks. And apparently mid-pack in turnovers. Actually, fifth from the top in turnovers. In any event, I've built a pretty good, well-rounded team with, I thought, the exception of points, which, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely closer to the bottom than the top, but apparently not that far from the bottom. Here's the thing. These standings are idiotic because, and now if we switch it to projections instead of last year's numbers, it has me in fourth place. Oh, that's more interesting. Third in field goal, first in free throw, bad in threes. I was a little worried about that. Bad in points. Bad in rebounds? No, wrong. Mid-pack in steals and blocks. So, you know what's stupid about this? Is that it's including what it thinks your last 3 or 4 picks are going to do. By the way, if you're going on last year's totals, it has me ranked first. But this is why this is dumb. I want to see... I'd like to see the draft results and just my team. You know what I can do? I can do it over here. Forget the queue. Here, see my team over on the right side. What happens if I zoom in more? There you go. You can see the whole team all in one fell swoop, basically, missing one name. So my team, and the order I drafted them apparently is hard to find right now. But it went Anthony Davis with the first pick, then James Harden, Freddie VanVleet, Evan Mobley, top 4. Jamal Murray, Bradley Beal, Jonas Valanciunas, Herb Jones, John Collins, Mike Conley, Ayo Dosunmu, Chris Middleton, and Malcolm Brogdon. The reason that it thinks my team is bad at rebounding is because I mostly went guards with my last 4 picks, but also, like, most of those guys probably don't end up on teams. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th rounds. These are guys for all of these teams that largely end up on the waiver wire. So that's why standings are dumb. You should look at standings after, like, the first 7 rounds. That's a better indicator of how the system thinks you're actually going to do, because those guys are probably going to be on your team most of the year. But from a strategic standpoint, you guys got to hear me talk through it, and I'll do that again right now. I went Anthony Davis first because Giannis went before me. I thought in the 6 hole I might go Giannis and punt free throw, but he was gone. I didn't want Halliburton because I think he's more of like 11 to 13 range guy this year. I didn't want to reach on Trey because that forces you into a very specific build. I don't think Tatum is a first rounder per game. I don't want to risk it on Joel Embiid in a head-to-head league. And then you get into guys that, Steph was possible. KD was possible. But Anthony Davis could be a top 3 per game guy. So I had to go that way. He's so good in blocks and boards, and field goal percent is a nice positive, and he's knocking at 3-pointers. His scoring is mad, but he's great in steals also. And it gave me a possible build. Now, if there was a guy in the second round that scored a bunch that I still liked there, I'd have gone that direction. But Booker was off the board. Dame was off the board. So my choice became Harden or probably LeBron were the 2 guys that I would look at in that joint that were left. Or maybe Scotty Barnes was a possibility. But Barnes would have tilted me into kind of a bad foul shooting team, but it was never going to be good enough to be a punt free throw team and compete with the likes of a Giannis build. So I went James Harden. And suddenly now my team was pretty good in most everything, maybe not as much 3-pointers. And that stayed a little bit of a weak point for my club. But Freddie VanVleet shored up some of that. My team now became kind of weak in field goal percent, if pretty good in the other stuff. Made up for that with Mobley. Jamal Murray, Bradley Beal don't bring that down all that much, but I got JV later on. Felt like I needed some steals after the first 4 were pretty good there, but Murray and Beal, Beal's not bad with steals. he doesn't get enough credit for the defensive stuff. Beal was 1 steal and half a block last year while playing hurt a lot of the time. If you just look at the second half of the season, Beal was 1.1 steals, zero point 0.6 blocks. That definitely plays. And good percentages, too. So a lot to like there. But again, that was one where I was kind of hoping I could go around later. JV, if he gets traded, that's the way that does kind of mess up a little bit of my big man stuff. But I'm also guessing that I'll probably end up trading out Brogdon for a big man or Nasumu for a big man if he's not playing enough. And also remember, I went Mike Conley in the 10th round. No, that wasn't it. It was the 8th round. That was Herb. Where'd Zubats go? Where's my guy Zoo? I've lost him. You guys are probably seeing him on the board, and I can't find him anywhere. Where are you, Ivica Zubats? Okongwu. There. I swear he was in there someplace. Oh, that's where he was. He was at the end of the 8th round. There's Zubats. So I went Herb Jones in the 8th, thinking that Zubats or Draymond Green would get back to me, or Jakob Poeltl, and none of them did. So the 3 centers I was thinking there, which all fit the build, which is help the field goal percent some. Draymond not as much. Draymond was more of the other stuff. Poeltl and Zubats were more of the sort of big man-y things. The hope was not to completely ruin my free throw percent. Poeltl would have certainly hurt more than Zubats or Draymond. And those guys both went off. So that one screwed me a little bit. I ended up with John Collins, who I think is going to be fine. But maybe going back, I go with Zoo or Draymond in the 8th round and hope that Herb or Anunoby makes it back to me in the 9th. So that's probably the other slight regret. I will, of course, be tweeting out results from this one. We'll get you all that information over at Dan Vespers on social media. I'll tweet out a picture of it. I'll type up some of the names as well. We can talk it out over there. But that's going to wrap up this mock. It went a little longer than I expected, but maybe this is about what they'll be. In any event, please do like, even if you don't like the picks, even if you don't like if I clowned on you, please hit the like button. It really does help us. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all that stuff. Follow on social at Dan Vespers and at Old Man Squad. We'll get another mock going later on today, but I'm hungry. It's lunchtime here on the Pacific Coast. So I'm going to eat, and I'll talk to you guys in a few hours. Happy Mocks Day, everyone!